This is a differential analysis, exercise number 2, and we're going to consider the discontinued product. A condensed income statement for a product line for Crown Beverage Inc. indicated the following for Royal Cola for the past year. Sales, $232,800. Cost of goods sold, $109,000. Gross profit, $129,000 or $23,800. Operating expenses of $143,000. And loss from operations, $19,200. Well, the initial reaction, oh, I'm losing money, maybe I ought to get rid of it. Well, there's more to consider than just that bottom line number. And what's one thing that's going to influence our decision is going to be possibly fixed costs that wouldn't go away. Let's take a look now. It's estimated that 13% of the cost of goods sold represents fixed cost, and that 20% of the operating expenses are fixed. Since Royal Cola is only one of many products, the fixed costs will not be materially affected if the product is discontinued. So all the other products are going to have to be absorbed by the remaining products if we discontinue. A key thought here is going to be contribution margin. If we were to look at the cola's contribution margin, sales minus variable cost, how much contribution margin we have that's going to be covering fixed costs, that's going to really help us make the decision. Okay? And we've learned this from previous chapters. So, here we go. We have, if we continue Royal Cola, we'll go ahead and plug these numbers in, $232,800 in sales. Our variable cost of goods sold, so we've got to calculate the variable cost of goods sold, so we'll eliminate the fixed costs. So my variable cost of goods sold, it said were, looks like 13% of the cost of goods sold. So I can take the 109,000. I need to subtract 13%, which is the fixed cost. So the 109,000, I can just multiply that times 87%, right? Right, 100% minus 13 is 87%. That'll tell me my variable cost. So that's 94,000. $94,830 is how I calculate that. So my variable operating expense, that's $143,000, and 22% represents fixed costs. So that's going to be 78%. 100% minus 22%, 78%. So I'm going to multiply 143,000 times 0.78. That equals 115,540. So there I have my revenue, my costs, my variable costs, and my variable operating expenses. The fixed costs will be the difference in my total cost. So I'm just going to add my total costs up, and I'll subtract. So I take the 109,000 minus 143,000. Sorry, I meant to add those together, excuse me. 109,000 plus 143,000. So my total cost of these two is 252,000, and I need to subtract these. So I'm going to subtract from that 94,830, and I'm going to subtract 115,540. It looks like 41,630. So that should be my fixed costs associated with it. And of course the income or loss is going to be the same as what I had there, 19,200 I believe. But we'll add it up and make sure. So I'll take the 232,800 minus 94,830 minus 115,540 minus 41,630. I get 19, a loss of 19,200. Okay? So if I now look at column 2 and it says discontinued Royal Cola, how much revenue? Zero. How much variable cost? Zero. How much variable operating? Zero. But my fixed cost, I'll still have 41,630 because it says it wouldn't materially affect it. So now my loss is going to be 41,630. And of course we can continue on and add these, transfer these numbers over on the differential. We'd have a 232,800 less revenue. We would have our variable costs would go down by 94,830. Our variable operating expense would go down by 115,540. And fixed costs would not change. So my difference in the continuation versus discontinuance, I can find that by taking the 41,630 loss minus the 18,200 loss, and I'd have a bigger loss of 23,430. Let's go ahead and check my work to see if my math is right. Oh, and by the way, based on that, no, it should not be discontinued. Let's check my work. Oh, okay, I've got a mathematical error here. We can go back and recalculate that because it should be 143,000. And the fixed costs are 22%. So that's, try that again. 143 times 0.78 is 115,000. 111,540. So let's delete that. So I did have a calculation error there. And let's go ahead and oh, true. Yes, thank you. So we'd have to go through and calculate the fixed costs. I'm not going to take the time to do that. And then, of course, we'd have to update the income from operations. I'll let you all work on that. I think you have the understanding of it.